Rough Edge FM. Irritatingly irresistible internet radio at roughedgefm.com.
From the land of lemons, magic, and neighbors who still wave, it's Voices of the Valley. Join hosts Jim and John as they shine a spotlight on local businesses, city council news, community events, and all the colorful characters that make the Santa Clara River Valley feel like home. From Santa Paula to Fillmore and Peru, this is your hometown podcast, Voices of the Valley.
Yes, indeed. This is your hometown. What is it?
What was that?
Hometown time?
Wow.
I was wondering what time it was. Hometown podcast.
Your brain's going faster than your mouth
yeah,
right now.
it is.
So, yeah.
So Tim is knocking on our door.
Already?
Well, it's 11:00. Well, I don't know what time it is. What time is it?
11:08.
11:08. So we're 8 minutes late from what I had it scheduled for.
That's all right. We were
debriefing.
yes.
So
We hadn't really talked since last week.
that's
so,
true. That's
Wow.
true.
Yeah.
So there's obviously a lot going on,
Yes.
and the holiday season is now officially upon us. Next week is Thanksgiving.
Isn't that crazy? And people are just like bypassing Thanksgiving. It's all about Christmas right now. Can
Oh,
you see that
Yeah.
on TV and everywhere? It's all about shopping for the holidays. It's like you forgot one holiday in between. It
Yeah.
happens every year.
No, it's getting worse. It gets earlier and earlier.
But Thanksgiving is a cool holiday because that's the time when you really can sit and enjoy a meal with your family and just talk.
What if you don't like your family?
Well, it's a good way to identify the ones you don't like. You don't have to talk to them the rest of the year. See, you kind of size everybody up for the year.
Do you notice that most of the Thanksgiving movies are all about that?
Yeah.
It's like families that hate each other, they come together and
Well,
they love each other in the end.
you watched the movie Four Christmases.
Yes.
I was watching that the other day. Holiday movies since November 1st,
Yes.
and that all the different dynamics of their families, crazy, but
Yep.
for some reason they all kind of come together. It all kind of makes sense at the end.
Well, yeah, because it's a movie.
Yeah, exactly. But that happens in real life too, so,
occasionally.
yeah. I mean, I've got family that I don't talk to all year, and we just have different lives and just different directions. I'll have our own intermediate families, and I hardly ever see them, and they live here in town, and I hardly ever see them. Maybe once a year if I'm lucky. And this is a small
And they
town.
live in Santa Paula.
Live in Santa Paula.
Wow.
But we just don't connect over the years. It's just been, my focus is on my immediate family and then the friends I hang out with, so even though it's a small town, it's, you're miles apart sometimes,
Yes.
and it's just, I'm still here with you though, which is good.
You are.
You're still considered a friend for now.
Okay.
I'm sizing you up.
I know. I'm like, for how much longer?
For next year, right? There you go.
So,
All right. I'm sorry to mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I'm trying to find my.
You're a little off center today.
I am a little bit.
So let's
off
get
center,
you back on track.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to
Wow, you just
why
got
it
a
was
Full
simpler.
focus on your face there.
Yeah. It's like
Wow. Yeah.
hi.
Yeah.
So here's something that I want to work on. Okay. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately. So there's a lot of let me back this up a little bit and kind of set the stage. So let's go back to when the Planet Fitness came into Santa Paula.
Yeah.
All of the gyms
Mhm.
and everybody else was in an uproar
Mhm.
that this big organization is going to come into Santa Paula and basically blow them all out of the water.
Mhm.
We get neighbors that another restaurant opens up and all the other restaurants are like, more competition.
Mhm.
Another clothing store, another whatever. So even like in magic, it's like if another magic shop, I guess I kind of am fortunate in that way because magic shops aren't opening, they're closing.
Yeah.
But even as a magician, another performer comes in. Let's say another magician comes into Santa Paula,
Mhm.
and I spend a lot of time on social media looking at what other people are doing,
Mhm.
and you get envious in a way. You get jealous kind of in a way where it's like, oh, look at what they're doing, and
Yeah.
I'm not, and why is this happening? And they're doing that, and oh, look where they get to perform, and I'm not performing there.
Yeah.
And you spend so much time focusing and worrying about what those people are doing
Mhm.
that you forget to focus on what you're doing.
Exactly. Mhm.
And so it's almost like, if another magician came into town, I would work harder
Yeah.
to make sure that
Mhm.
I'm known as the one.
Exactly.
And right now I am the one.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like, not that I take the easy road,
Mhm.
but there's no fire underneath me to really say, you gotta push this because you want people to come to you.
You get complacent. That's what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
It happens in any job or whatever. You don't have that drive. Sometimes it happens. And then the fact that you're the only one. Yeah, I can see where that would happen.
Right.
But
If I was McDonald's,
yeah,
and a Burger King all of a sudden opened up next door to me, my initial reaction would be, oh man, I can't believe they just opened up right next door to me. And what's this going to do to my business? And oh my gosh, I can't believe why couldn't they move, on another street? Why did they have to open up right next? But you look at it, and all of these big restaurant chains, fast food places, they're all clustered
yeah,
in the same place.
that's done on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? And so then you start to realize that there's a benefit
Mm-hmm.
to having them all
Yeah.
clustered together.
It drives traffic. There's people there. They may not stop that day, but guess what? They're going to probably stop at another day. Or if this one place is packed, you're the next option or something. But then also you compete. Let's have some better price points. Let's do some more specials. And so, yeah, they're constantly trying to get your business, but they welcome all these restaurants. Every city you go into, how many restaurants are clustered?
Right.
Pretty
much all the fast food chains.
And they're all in like a business district where there's numerous different shopping options there.
Right.
So you're constantly seeing that anywhere you go. I mean, we were in San Diego a few weeks back, and we went to an area, and it was just shopping center after shopping center after shopping center across the street from each other, and they're all in this one cluster, but it was packed. There was so many people there. It's insane that, so that traffic flow helps your business.
Yeah. And if you think about it, like, look over in Ventura on Harbor Boulevard.
Yeah.
There's 3 gas stations across the street from each other.
Yeah.
There's a McDonald's. There's the hot dog place.
Yeah.
There's a Denny's. There's an In-N-Out. And it's all right there in that one pocket.
Yeah.
And so,
and they're all busy.
Yeah. And so these big boys are looking at it as, bring it on.
Yeah.
And for a small business, we kind of look at it like, stay away.
Oh yeah. The NIMBYs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that happens a lot. It's happening in our community right now.
Right.
We have that a lot. If there's, in relation to events, when somebody's having an event, how many times have we seen businesses say, no, you can't have that. It's going to hurt our business.
Right.
And it's just like, no, it's actually helping because we're bringing people to the community that maybe have never experienced your business, and they'll come back,
right.
So
they'll discover what is here.
Exactly. You can say, I don't want to have this in my neighborhood, but then again, you're also going to sit there, and the same people are going to come in and out all the time, and you're not going to get any new business. You got to do things to attract new businesses.
Right.
A new restaurant. I mean, you look at a good example here in town. Park 1055 came in. How much more business has that brought to everybody with having them downtown? It's a huge amount of business that people are flocking to downtown, and they're starting to discover what else is in downtown.
Right.
Even though they're kind of not in the core of it, but they're bringing a lot of people, and they're doing some creative things to get people to come into town. And so they have so many out of towners that come in. All of a sudden they're like, oh, let's go check out downtown. So you got to welcome that all the time.
Well, and the Glen Tavern now is
Tavern's
they're
another great example.
embracing
Mm-hmm.
their
Yeah.
hauntedness.
Yes. After how many
And
years? You
I
know, they've
know.
always fought it, and now they're embracing it.
And that's going to bring a whole group of people that have never come into this community because they have something incredibly unique.
Yeah.
That a new business coming in can't replicate.
Yeah.
And so, and then, you know, look at Fillmore. You have the theater downtown. And what if a theater center came in,
Mm-hmm.
you know, next to them?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now all of a sudden they start to get recognized as being a theater type
Mm-hmm.
community.
Oh.
And there's all these different things that are coming on. So people can go and it's, oh my gosh, look, that other theater's doing this. We should come back and do that.
Exactly.
So it's a hard concept,
Yeah,
to kind of wrap your head around because
oh yeah,
I know I look at man, I look sleepy eyed. My eyes open. I just noticed that. It looks like my eyes, this eye.
oh wow,
Is it open?
kind of slightly. Okay,
Jeez.
slightly.
Holy cow. I feel like I should be going to sleep. So you know, I know like for me, there's a couple of magicians that I watch and I look at and I become envious of. It's like, well, look at that. But what I don't realize is that they're probably looking at me
Mm-hmm.
and feeling the same way. Wow, he's got a magic shop. Wow, he's got a theater. Wow, I would really love to have something like that.
Yeah.
And so it's so important to focus. You need to know what your competition is doing,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so important to focus on be worried about what you're doing.
Bottom line, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, you can have all these things going around you, and you can complain all you want, but if you're not doing what you should be doing, then you're never going to be successful,
Right.
you know, to the level you want. You know, good example, like you look at downtown with E&D Boutique. Talk about them being creative and doing all these things and bringing people from out of town to downtown. They're thinking outside the box to help their business because, you know, they're a boutique and hat store. They're no different than any other boutique, but they're being creative. They're doing out of the box and they're going out to events and participating in events and just trying to get people to come into their business. And they've been probably one of the biggest success stories as far as retail in a long time downtown. Really has been. You know, I think Park and E&D are probably the two most successful businesses right now that are thinking outside the box and getting people to come in. And the thing about it, when they do that, other businesses need to embrace that. Right. I think a lot of them push back, and it's just like, no, embrace it, feed off of that. Because if people are coming in town and you're still sitting behind your counter waiting for those people that are in his business to come in, they're not. Put something out there, work with them, partner with them, bring, you know. That's something a lot of times they don't, you know, and this has been a history of our downtown here. There's always been pushback. There's always been people that are just not receptive to change. They're not receptive to working together. And it's been going on for 30, 40 years, you know, as far as I know. My mom used to be part of the downtown merchants thing. She said they've constantly battled and fought and everything because nobody wanted to work together. You know, they were all thinking just about themselves. And you know, downtown's got so much potential and we just don't do it. You know,
yeah, and this, you know, they're doing a sip and shop, and but I think about a lot of these businesses that have opened. Like for example, in Piru, you have a cute little bar, Corazon de Piru. Yeah. It's a cafe and bar. It's a coffee shop in the morning, bar at night, and they have all of these new buildings or new homes that have been built there. So you're thinking, wow, more people added to the community will better the business. The problem is they're right on the 126. So they hop onto the 126 and they drive through Fillmore. Yeah. And what happens in Fillmore? Well, you have all these businesses that are right on 126 that they can just pull off and go to. Yeah. And so it's kind of like, okay, we need to get those people to come inward, to come into their own town, and support what they have locally as well, so that those people can thrive. But you know, if you look at us, I mean, we are totally off the beaten path. Nobody's going to find us unless they know about us. Yeah. And so we have to work really hard to let people know that we even exist. And we still have a huge population in Santa Paula that has no clue we're even here. The advantage to the downtown is that if one business capitalizes on bringing people there, then they see the other things that are around there and they start to discover that there's more potential there. There's more things that they should explore. Nobody's going to realize that they should be exploring us because we're nowhere within that path. In Fillmore, people driving through the 126, as they're driving through Fillmore, they're looking around going, oh my gosh, there's this, there's this, there's this. They're downtown. Unfortunately, you have to take a right to get to it. But it's a cute little courtyard area that, maybe if somebody wants to venture off a little bit, they can explore something that's, they have a beautiful downtown.
That's been their biggest challenge too. I've sat in on some of their meetings and their community meetings, and that's the biggest thing. How do we get people from the 126 to turn in to go downtown?
Right.
Because they talked about putting a bigger sign to tell people about downtown or whatever. But when people are coming through, unfortunately, when they're coming through Fillmore, they already know where they're going. They're just not out for, on the weekends, you might get people that are looking around, but for the most part, they know where they're going. They're folks. They're not going to turn off unless they're going to go to a specific business, whatever, but to explore, it's hard, so they run into that challenge just like we do here. I mean, you got to get off the freeway to go to our downtown, to go on a business district, the whole thing.
And we have more of a disadvantage. I found that a lot of people know Fillmore.
Yeah. Because of how it runs.
Yeah. But they don't know about Santa Paula.
No.
It's like, yeah. And so it's kind of like, well, if you're driving on the 126, you're passing Piru, you're passing Santa Paula. But they don't know about it. They know Fillmore and they know Ventura.
Yeah. They know Santa Paula, get off on 10th Street on the way to Ojai, and they'll literally bypass the city, go right through the city and bypass it.
Yeah.
So overall, as a community, we don't do a great job marketing our community.
No,
never have.
And that's one of the things that we need to do as a central organization for all three communities is to get people to be aware and to stop. And there are things that will make that happen. The rail cars are doing a great job. E&D, when we do events in the downtown, that brings people here. The escape room sometimes brings people from, not sometimes, most of the people are from the outside coming here. In Fillmore, you have a lot of those restaurants and things like that. And you have the Red Engine Brewery that's right on the strip.
Yeah.
And so for them, people that are driving through, they want to eat, they need to get gas or get a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And then they're moving on. So it's really events that can capitalize on bringing new people into the community and making them discover what there is to be found.
That's been the biggest success in all three communities, is having events within those communities, because that gets people here. They stay here for hours. Then they figure out, oh, wow, let's check out this community. It's kind of cool, and stuff.
Right.
And we've gotten away from that. Totally gotten away from that. I mean, Fillmore, you don't ever see an event anymore. Very rarely. They do smaller events, but you don't see a larger event. Piru, same thing. Fillmore has the car show, their 4th of July car. That's the biggest event I think they have. And then Piru, they do have, what does Piru have? They do one in the park. Yeah. But it's not a really big draw either. I mean,
no.
I know the lake is trying to do more big events now. They're starting to do that. Santa Paula, other than cruise night, there's really nothing.
I heard that the lake has been partially drained.
I think they were doing some repairs on the dam there.
Yeah.
But it's still open.
Yeah.
But yeah, we, about 4 or 5 years ago, there was events everywhere in this community. When I was with the chamber, we were leading that, and it brought people to the community, and people were aware of who we were as a community all over the county, and that was my way of thinking, was just like, let's bring people so they can see what Santa Paula is about. Because people were like, where's Santa Paula? Even people that live in the county don't have a clue.
Right.
Talk about the escape room. I I remember probably several months ago, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I met a couple from Thousand Oaks. Longtime residents, have never been to Santa Paula. And they came because they were at the rail cars.
Oh, really?
But
Yeah.
lived 20, 30 years in Thousand Oaks, had never been to Santa Paula. And I'm just like, wow,
Yeah.
they never come around. There's people in this town that have never gone to the museums. We have,
Right.
we know they haven't gone to escape rooms.
Yeah.
But so what's the disconnect? We got to figure out how to make that work. The car show brings a lot of people from outside Santa Paula in here, and hopefully they're shopping too. But yet again, I've seen in cruise nights where nobody does anything in their stores. They just kind of, a few people put stuff outside, but the restaurants all promote. You see their flyers. They're always talking about cruise. Other businesses are just kind of like, and that's been my biggest rub with downtown is businesses, is that fact that they don't embrace anything, not to the level.
I know, like,
they have potential, but they just don't want to do it.
I know places like E&D
Mhm.
and Santa Paula Trading,
Mhm.
they actually put racks that are outside, and
Mhm.
that's a great thing because
Yeah.
people, even at the car show, people are walking up and down those sidewalks.
Yeah.
And if your storefront doesn't call them in, then they're just going to keep walking.
Exactly.
And there are some businesses that close during it because they feel like, oh, well, there's nobody going to come to the store. Well, you got to embrace the fact that these people, they're looking at cars, but they're also looking at storefronts.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have things outside and when you have a really nice decorated storefront,
Mm-hmm.
Things that are curious, people are going to look and they're going to stop and they're going to go, I wonder what this is about. And they're going to go in.
Yeah.
But it's if the downtown in itself, both in Fillmore, definitely in Piru, in Santa Paula, if it stands alone, we have such a small population with our citizens.
Mm-hmm.
What do they have? What does everybody have to do? They have to eat and they have to get gas.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to shop for clothing. They don't have to get a new hat.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to, buy a new antique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so you're so limited in what your residents are going to do for you if you're outside of a restaurant or a gas station, that you got to accept the draw. There's got to be things that are bringing people into the community outside, because even like for us, the nobody's coming to our store unless we draw them, because a magic shop, is unique.
Yeah.
But who are we going to get? We're going to get other magicians or other magician enthusiasts or whatever like that. And so they're coming out because they want to experience a very unique store that doesn't really exist in a very few places.
Yeah.
And that's probably where they're going to stop, because then they might go get something to eat.
Yeah.
But if we can create attractions in the areas that you want activity, then that's what's going to bring you, I think, your most business, because they're there, and they haven't been to your store, they haven't been to the community, and so now they're in explore mode. So
we do that whenever my wife and I, like, when we were in San Diego, we looked in their local magazines, or even on social media, to see what was going on. We found a few events and we went to them, and they were like, oh, that was kind of cool. We actually went into a store that was right there. I'm like, well, that's cool. And we're like, hey, we should come back, next time.
Right.
Check it out. Met some cool people and stuff, but it's like, that's what draws people, is you're looking for things to do, and we stopped at one place and it was just packed, but they were advertising all the different things they had, and they created it to be a must-see stop.
Right.
And so it was cool. And then we started looking around at other things that were in the area too, and found some cool things. So
we have a really bad economy right now.
Yes.
There are a lot of people are scared, and people are cutting back. Even the restaurants are feeling it.
Oh yeah.
But there's only a handful of things that people have to do. They have to shop for groceries. They have to eat.
Mhm.
Some people will work out,
Mhm.
and they're going to get gas.
Yeah.
Beyond that, they don't have to go to the movie theater. They don't have to go to a clothing store. They don't have to look at antiques.
Yeah.
They don't have to, so it's a really tough time. And we don't have a community, a population that is strong enough to support all of these different businesses
Mhm.
in what they have to offer. The only way that we can do it is by having people from the outside
Exactly.
come in.
Mhm.
And what is going to make them come in? What's going to make them go to downtown Fillmore? What's going to make them take a look at Pyro?
Yeah.
And it's also identifying the fact that, who is your customer,
Mhm.
and realizing, and really reaching out to those people.
Mhm.
I know there are some stores that downtown that, their inventory is constantly changing because of the types of product they bring in.
Mhm.
And so you create a network of, hey, look, this just came in, and the followers are going, oh, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Let's go back and check it out.
Mhm.
But, it's just a really tough
Mhm.
economy, and we're in a tough area. Our 3 cities combined don't equal Ventura.
Not even 60,000 people.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
So, yeah.
and it definitely doesn't equal an Oxnard.
I mean, we're competing with the big boys, but yet again, there's a different mindset when you come out here too.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think one of the strongest things about our community is that when you're in those cities, you're in the hustle and bustle, and it's fast and it's moving, and it's, you come here and it's an opportunity to put on the brakes, slow down a little bit, enjoy what's around you, enjoy the company that you're with, and relax.
Yeah.
Which in itself
Mhm.
is a nice draw.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you get people from LA that's what they want to do, come out for the day and just kind of relax and just, enjoy themselves,
Yeah.
and explore. Will they buy a lot of stuff? Maybe, maybe not. They're going to eat. They're for sure. That's usually one of the
Yeah.
things. And
They're probably going to get gas.
they'll get gas, whatever, but they'll do a little bit of shopping. I know, like, so when we were in San Diego, we ended up spending more money than we wanted to because we liked some of the shops. We saw some of the cool things. It's like, okay, well, let's buy it. We're helping support small businesses, doing that. But because we happen to be
here, we're not going to be coming back anytime soon.
But we were there because of something else that was going on. It's like, okay, well, we'll buy that. We want to help support local and the whole thing. And so when people come here, they're going to do that. You'll get a percentage of them that'll want to come, and they'll buy something, know. And there's some businesses in downtown that do better than others as far as keeping a good variety of things. So, but yeah, as a whole, we don't do a great job promoting our community. We need to find out. I've always said we needed to find an identity of who we are as a community. Are we a tourist town? Are we a cultural arts town? What are we?
When I think of Piru, Fillmore, and Santa Paula, I think of Norman Rockwell.
Yeah,
that is exactly what comes to mind. That old hometown kind of vibe. A cute little downtown area, small community, people coming together. That's the vibe I get.
Yeah.
And it's actually a really good vibe.
Yeah.
And it's not something that in LA or in Oxnard or any of those other places, Camarillo, none of them can replicate that.
The problem is we don't embrace it.
Yeah.
As a valley.
Right.
We don't embrace anything like that.
We want the big box store. We want the big industries. We want,
and that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in our area. We just can't support it.
Right.
But we can do other things, and I mean, how does Ojai thrive? I mean, Ojai has its issues, but you look at their downtown. I mean, they're doing really well, and they're a destination place. They're a weekend tourist destination.
Right.
We should be that here in the valley. A weekend where, there's not a lot of hotels, but guess what? You can go to Ventura, spend there, but then come spend the day over here. I've always said that if we partner with Ventura or one of the other communities that has the hotels, they'll go to the beach, go do it. But yet again, take one day and come out here and spend the day out here. And we just, my time in the chamber, we just couldn't get that consensus from everybody.
So when I say the word Ojai, what is what's the one word that comes to mind?
For me, for Ojai, well, the first thing when you think of Ojai is their farmers market.
Okay.
That's the big draw for their downtown, but it's a what's the
So
word?
when I hear Ojai, I think artsy fartsy.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's to me, when somebody says Ojai, I go, okay, arts and hippies and
yeah,
that kind of thing.
Yeah. Then that's what's there. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at it, but
that's the draw.
Yeah. But great food, great restaurants, variety of restaurants. Their Ojai Valley Inn is the big draw.
Right.
That's their number one draw. People go there because it's a great resort, and then there's a lot of surrounding businesses downtown.
They have 2 great golf courses there.
Yeah, so it's so people go there to stay there, and they stay at the other smaller boutique hotels, but that's the draw there. And people go wine tasting. They go. There's all the produce stands all over the place. There's the weekend market. That's huge. When people drive from everywhere to go to that market,
right?
Not just Ventura County, but they've created that aura there. Yeah, yes, there's Lake Casitas, but that's a secondary thing. It's even though it's near Ojai, it's not.
Yeah, I think if you go to Lake Casitas, you're not going to Ojai. You're going to Lake Casitas.
Yeah, exactly. Where like Piru, Lake Piru, that is Piru. They consider Piru? It's the lake,
right?
There's Rancho Camulos. I get that that's on the highway, which is still considered Piru, but they haven't. As they're growing, they'll get more of an identity. But yeah, it's just that's what you think when you think of Piru. It's the lake,
right? And what do you think of when you hear the word Fillmore?
Fillmore, that people still associate it with the trains.
Mm-hmm.
They still associate it with the trains.
And what do you think of when you hear the word Santa Paula?
Santa Paula museums, airport. That's what people think about it. And they do say downtown. You have a downtown, a cool downtown. But,
right.
But for the most part, we've always been known for our cultural art with museums and stuff. The theater center, the other museums, and that's going to change too with Leap Lab coming in there and creating that whole center at the California Oil Museum building. So that's going to change. So it's going to bring back some more of that artistic stuff into our community. So.
Yeah, and what do you think if you ask people about let's say Santa Paula, what do you think they would want people to, if they, like in Ojai, if you say Ojai, you go, oh, arts.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think people in Santa Paula want to be associated with?
Well, that's the thing. We've always said, we've never been able to establish what our identity is.
Tim Eubanks, by the way, thinks of wine moms when it comes to Ojai. So basically wines.
Yeah.
So
yeah, wine. They've got, they don't have as many wines as people think, but they know how to market it better.
Right.
Where you go to up in Los Olivos and everything, and there's a winery on every corner there,
right.
And that's what they're known for.
Right.
But,
so what do you think Santa Paula wants to be known as? If you were to ask the residents or the business owners that, how would you want Santa Paula to be associated?
We tried this several years ago to get an identity, because we've never done that. We never figured out our identity, and like I said, most of our residents say, well, museums, but yet again, half of them have never been to a museum, so it's like, how can you actually say that, and we have a lot of new residents too now. So it's like, so what do they think? There's a reason why they moved to Santa Paula. Yes, the homes are more affordable, but there's got to be another reason too. Those are the people we need to talk to and say, hey, how do you identify Santa Paula? Yet again, a lot of them, I don't know if they do or don't shop in local, so it's one of those things that the homes of the Harvest are on the highway. So it's just like, they're going to jump on the freeway and go too. So it's like, how do you capture all that?
So if I were to create an identity for Santa Paula, I would create a Norman Rockwell community.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the stigma is with Norman Rockwell, if it's, whatever, but it's what it represents.
how does that relate to the newer generation that may not understand that?
Right.
So they'll be like, who's Norman Rockwell?
Right.
So it's taking that and creating something out of that could relate.
But that's what I see Santa Paula as, is what it represents.
Mhm.
Small time community coming together, going
Yeah.
to the baseball field, watching a baseball game.
Yeah.
Going to the park.
Or years ago, we had the tagline "Citrus Capital of the World."
Right.
That's what we went for years. Me growing up, that's what it was. You came to Santa Paula because of the citrus.
Right.
And then you discovered, oh, we have museums. Oh, we have this. Oh, we have downtown. That's excuse me, that's what Santa Paula was known for. And they kind of got away from the citrus capital tagline. People still call it here and there that, but we've gotten away from that. So, but that's what people knew Santa Paula for years. We're the citrus capital of the world.
Right.
And but we have more cultural arts than I think than anybody in this area. When you look at it from all the statues, the museums, and all that other stuff, we probably have
The
more
theaters,
yeah, we probably have more than any of the other communities right here in this area. So, I don't know. It's been my biggest challenge over the years when I was running the chamber was to figure out the identity of the community and have everybody on board, because the challenge is when you get everybody in the room, you'll have 100 different
right.
But to come to settle on something, that's hard for any community.
Yeah, I was thinking we're going a little long, but that's okay because
Yeah.
there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the dance singers and people of in those kinds of roles,
City manager roles,
where it's an ungrateful role.
Mhm.
There's people are never going to like what you're doing. There's going to be a group of people. It's like in Ventura, close the main street permanently
Mhm.
or reopen it back up. Nobody, no matter what decision you make, it's going to be a wrong decision for somebody.
Mhm.
And it just becomes an ungrateful task, because you're always going to have somebody who's mad at you. They're always going to have somebody who thinks that somebody else could do better.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to me that there are people that actually want to fulfill those roles, knowing that it's going to be an ungrateful position.
Oh yeah. Even when I was running the chamber, I knew going in. I thought when I first came in, I was just like, okay, yeah, whatever I say is going to happen. Everybody's going to love me and everything and whatever. Nah, and I towards the end, I'm like, I know whatever decision I make, 50% of the people aren't going to be happy with what I do.
Right.
But you know what? I didn't care, because it's like, I'm making a decision, right or wrong. I'm going to make a decision and I'll live by it, and if it helps the community, great. If it does help the community, okay, we'll go back to the drawing board and stuff. But if you don't make, I've always even told when I had my team there, I said, just make a decision. Don't sit there and not make it. If I'm not around or whatever, make a decision, right or wrong, make it, but do what you think is right,
Right.
Because you're always going to get criticized. No matter what, you're constantly going to get criticized, but you got to accept that in the roles like a city manager or city council is a good example too.
Right.
When they make a decision, how many people will come to the next city council meeting and be in an uproar,
Right.
whatever. It just comes with the territory, and it's more heightened now with social media. Before, things would happen before social media and people would be upset, but then it kind of blow away. But people just are persistent and they just will not let things go. And it's like, and that's what's created our society to be very cynical lately.
Yeah. And sadly, I personally, and I recognize this about myself, that I personally don't have, I don't know if I wouldn't say necessarily confidence,
Mhm.
but I don't have the skin to constantly be criticized or ridiculed or
Skin, huh? Yeah.
and it's it takes a very unique personality in a person to be able to fulfill some of those roles, and I identify that that's not me, because I want people to be genuinely happy.
Oh, we all do.
And, yeah. But to identify with the fact that it would just be a real struggle for me to be able to say, to have half the population hate me.
It's not to say hate you, just disagree with you.
Well,
And if
in
hate's
today's society, I'm leaning more towards hate.
but if hate's there, that's on them. It's not on what you're doing.
Right.
It's on them. So that's how I like. But I mean, I learned over the years to get thick skin. I mean, more so the last few years to learn how to do that. But at the end of the day, as long as I can walk away and know that I did the best I could and make the decision, and people didn't like it, I'm fine with it too. You're not going to please everybody, that. So,
Right.
But just do the best you can every day, and if people don't like it, then jump in and do it yourself, figure it out. But if you're willing to criticize, but then not do anything about it, then basically stop criticizing, because, how many times do we see on social media, people have an opinion, and,
Oh yeah.
and you can give your opinion, but make it a valid point, and back it up, don't
Right.
just sit there and say, because you say it's green, somebody say, no, it's red. And then they're going to disagree with you and just cause an uproar and get everybody else riled up. It's like, no, shut up,
Yeah, back it up.
just stop. Social media has been just the worst. That's why I stay off of social media. As far I never comment on it. I'll look at it once in a while, but it'll drive you nuts.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to do it for research for your work or whatever, but I don't take any of that to heart anymore. It's just like, no, as long as I know I'm doing the best I can, and I don't have all the answers.
Poison for the soul.
Yeah.
Somebody gave me some really good advice once, and I don't remember who it was, but I'm going to pass it along. But before I do that, we do have a sip and shop coming up on, I believe, November 22nd.
This Saturday. Yeah.
22nd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's in the downtown, and it's a good way to support local, do a little bit of holiday shopping before Thanksgiving comes here. And then I can't believe this, but in less than 2 weeks, we have the Christmas parade.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll have next week's show to go through some more of that. So here's the advice I got. Did you have anything else you wanted to add, by the way?
Oh, I could talk for hours.
I know.
Just go ahead.
You could, but okay.
I'm actually kind of fired up right now about
I know.
this, so
I'm going to end the show on this.
All
so
right.
if
Go ahead.
there's something you want to squeak in.
No, we're good.
Okay. So here's the advice that somebody gave me one time. What other people's opinions are of you or what they say about you is none of your business. So don't make it your business.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, that's what a lot of us do, is somebody has a negative opinion and we make it ours. And what they're basically saying is it really doesn't matter. Let them say, do, talk, whatever they want to do. That's them. It doesn't define who you are. You define who you are. So if somebody has an opinion, it's none of your business.
Yeah.
This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.